Yo, what is up everybody? It's Out of Order and welcome to the editing and design tutorials. This is a series where I teach you guys everything from GFX to editing to VFX and motion design and basically everything in between. But without further ado, let's get right into the tutorial. So you guys probably saw my AVI tutorial on how to make an AVI or whatever. This tutorial I'm going to be teaching you guys how to make a PSD, and let's just get started. So in order to make a PSD, you're going to need an Illustrator file. If you don't have an Illustrator file, then I'm going to show you how to make one. But if you do have an Illustrator file, you can skip this step and go right into Cinema 4D. But anyway, for those of you that don't have an Illustrator file, here's what you're going to want to do. You're going to want to open up Photoshop. Alright, so once Photoshop opens up, you're going to need a logo. I'm going to be using a logo for the team called The Flock. So you're just going to put it in your Photoshop like this. And just press enter on your keyboard to place it down. Now once you have your logo, you're going to want to select this tool right here. This is the quick selection tool, and once you have that selected, you're just going to draw a little circle around it. And once you draw a circle around it, you should notice that there's like this little thing around it, you know. As you can see, if I zoom out, you can see it better. But yeah, you're just going to select quick selection tool, draw a circle around it. It should select everything. I mean, if your logo's really complicated, or like if you have like one of those weird logos like the esports logos where it's like a lot of colors and like a mascot, then this isn't gonna work. But if you have a simple logo like this, it should work. Anyway, once you do that, you're gonna want to right click on it and you're gonna want to select make work path, and then tolerance, just keep it at 2. And you'll notice it'll make a bunch of masking points with the little pen tool. It basically just does all the work for you. So before, you would have to take the pen tool and you would have to just recreate the logo in a vector, but it does it for you. So once you have your vector thing all looking nice and everything, you can disable the background, just delete it. So once you delete everything and have a work path made, then what you're going to want to do is go to File, Export, and then export paths to Illustrator. And what this will do is you're just going to select work path, which is the one we made. You're going to hit OK, and then you're just going to save this to your desktop. So I'm just going to call this something like Flock or whatever. And you should notice it on your desktop now. So that's how you make a basic vector. Just put your logo in Photoshop, quick select it, draw around it, right click, paths to Illustrator, export paths to Illustrator, and boom, you're done. So with that out of the way, you're going to want to need Cinema 4D, which is a 3D, it's basically just a 3D program. And so you're going to want to launch it up real quick. You are going to need this program. You can't do it. You can do it with Blender, I've heard you can do it with other 3D software like Blender and I think Maya or whatever. But I use Cinema 4D. It works the best for me, so yeah. Alright, so once Cinema 4D opens up, you're going to want to put your vector in it. Just drag and drop it, and then scale. It doesn't really matter. And you should notice that your logo is now in Cinema 4D. It's in this 3 workspace. And to move around, you hold 1 on your keyboard, you can drag, and hold 2, you can zoom in, 3, and you can revolve around it. I think that's the word, I'm not sure, but yeah, you can basically just move around with it. Anyway, so once you get your thing, you're gonna notice 2 paths in there or more. If your logo is super complicated, you'll have more paths, and if it's not as complicated, you only have like 2, like mine. Anyway, so once you do that, you're gonna want to hold click on this, go to extrude. You'll notice this thing pop up, bring your work path into it, and you're gonna want to do the same again. So extrude, work path, bring it into it, and you'll notice your thing is now in 3D. And you might have to do this a couple times. If your logo is really complicated, you'll have to keep doing extrude, drag your path in it. But for me, since my logo is simple, it only took 2, so yeah. Anyway, so after you do that, you're gonna want to click on your extrude, not the path itself, but extrude. And you'll notice this little slider thing. You can increase the depth of it, the width of it. So like that, maybe. That looks kind of nice like that. I feel like we should do a little bit more. Okay, so I made my thing like this, and to a lot of you guys, this might look really like way too much. But because we're making a PSD, when you zoom out and look at it from center, it doesn't look that thick. But yeah. Anyway, so after you do that, you're gonna wanna make a camera. Hold on this, click camera, and you should notice the camera just placed down like this. Make sure your rotation's at 0, 0, and then make all this 0 again. and you notice it should bring it down there. Using these little arrows right here, you can center it as best you can. So there's usually like a little center point created for you, which is nice. There you go. And so just you move this back. You can click on this button over here to zoom in on it. Okay, it needs to be a little more back. Maybe a little bit lower. Yeah, that's good, that's good. Alright, so after you do that, you're gonna want to click on this little icon right here. It'll open this up. Make the resolution a 1:1 ratio. I prefer 1440 by 1440. You can do whatever you want. And it might zoom out a little bit, so let's zoom in on it more. A little bit more. Just a little bit more, like that maybe. And like that. There we go. Perfect. So we got our little thing ready. Now here's the part where it gets complicated. You're gonna need some materials. If you don't know how to make one, just click on create. And you should get a material right here. Make it more white, and then just place it on your little thing, your logo. If you don't have any custom materials, you can download custom materials pack. This is just a basic tutorial, so I'm just gonna teach you how to make one. So that's how you make one right there. And if you click this button right here, it'll render it all out. But as you can see, it looks pretty terrible. So what we're gonna do is click on this gear icon, go to Effect, Ambient Occlusion, Global Illumination, and then once you have Global Illumination selected, go to Low, and then if you render it out, you'll notice it'll be black. So to fix that, you're gonna need a light source. So I prefer infinite light. So you'll notice it'll create a light source right here. Move this up a little bit, and then just like put it like right here, and then just change the rotation of it using this rotation tool. And if we look at the camera, you'll notice it looks a lot better and it's more 3D. But I don't like using that light source, honestly. It looks kind of newbie. People will be able to tell you just used an infinite light. So you can find some Lightrooms online. There's plenty of Lightrooms, so I'm just going to use this Lightroom right here. This one that I downloaded. As you can see, this one's a lot more complicated and a lot better. So I recommend finding one online and downloading it. And so yeah, there we go. We have our little AVI almost done. So the next step, which is also probably the last step, is to actually render it out. So what I like to do to make an AVI is click this gear icon, save. Make sure you have alpha channel selected. Like, this is a huge requirement. You need alpha channel. Change the layer to a PNG, and then just click this button and then save it to wherever you want. I'm just gonna save it to my desktop. I'll call it 1. And then once you do that, click this icon right here and it'll render it out. Okay, so once you have that rendered out, whatever you do, don't move the camera at all. Just select your extrude and then bring this down. Bring the depth all the way down to 1. Same with this one. Bring the depth all the way down to 1. And then click this again. This time render it as a different one, so I'm going to call it 2. Once you do that, render it out a second time. And this will render out basically just a flat image. So once you have all that done, we're not going to be needing, we don't need Cinema 4D anymore, so we can just close it. We got everything we need saved. And we got these 2 3D files. So once we do that, we just go back into Photoshop. Select 1440 by 1440. Now, when you're creating a new document, make sure you use the same resolution you made these two right here, which I made 1440 by 1440. So you're going to want to drag 2 in and then 1 in. Make sure you place both of these on top of each other. And then make sure the 2D one is at the top. So this one's at the top and this one's behind it. And boom, you have a basic AVI, which doesn't really look that good. So I'm going to select both of them. Control T. Once you do that, you're just going to want to resize it, make it centered like that maybe, and make it maybe like that. There we go. And then just apply it like that. Once you do that, you're going to need a background. So I'm just going to find a basic background to use. Okay, so I found a really basic background. So Once you find a background, it can be really anything basically. Just place it down and make sure it's the bottom layer. Preferably a grayscale background. Honestly, grayscale backgrounds look the best in my opinion. So yeah, make sure you use a grayscale background. So that's what I did right here. Okay, so after the whole grayscale image, next thing you want to do is select the top layer, go to gradient overlay, and then you're going to want to make this color like a gray at the top and a dark gray at the bottom. So let's do that. Reverse it, make this like not that dark, but like that maybe. And then once you do that, add an inner shadow, and this inner shadow you're going to want to make sure it's color dodge and make sure it's white. And lower the opacity so it's like this maybe. And don't rasterize it. Whatever you do, don't rasterize it. That just completely defeats the purpose of a PSD. And next one, bottom one, gradient overlay, make this like a dark gray, maybe, and then make this one like also like a dark gray. And then same thing, you're going to add an inner shadow, except this one you can increase the opacity a little bit since it's a darker color. And do it like that. And there you go. As you can see, it's looking a whole lot better. If I turn that off, you can see the bottom part. If I turn it on, you can see the top part. So it's looking pretty good so far. Next thing we're going to do is add text. So I'm just going to put template on here. And then just center it like this maybe, and then change the font of it, of course. Okay, so I found the font I like. We're gonna do the same thing. Gradient overlay, make this like a it's kind of grayish whitish. Make this one like a dark grayish whitish, like that. And then once you do that, you're gonna want to go to inner shadow, except lower the size of this and lower the opacity of it. And then a drop shadow, make this one like a black maybe, and then just lower the opacity of this. And another thing I like to do is select it all and then go to this part right here, this button right here at the top of the screen, make it like an arc, and then just go down a little like this maybe. And boom, we have a basic AVI. That's how you do it, except there's more. One last step, the color correction obviously. So what I like to do for the color correction is add curves on here, and then make the darkers dark, the whites whiter, like this maybe, so like an S curve basically. And make sure this is at the top. And once you do the curves, I think we're just about done. Honestly, I don't really know what else to add. Maybe a new layer, maybe make this one, or maybe, you know what, I know what to do. Alright, so the last step to this PSD tutorial, you're gonna need some light leaks or shadows or whatever. So you're just gonna add a light leak over it, and then just scroll through the blending options till you find something that looks nice. So let me find something. I think this looks nice right here, soft light. And what I can do now is select the background layer and then just change the color of it to like match it, so like maybe a purplish. And boom, you have a PSD. That's the way I make PSDs. Everybody does their PSDs different, but this is the way I like the best, honestly. I feel like this just looks a lot better than some other PSDs. You can also rasterize the bottom one, the bottom layer, and then maybe add an inner shadow with the color dodge. So like this basically would look kind of nice. Lower the opacity a little, like that. And you're just about done. That's how you make a PSD. Then you can use this in my AVI tutorial that I made. Yeah, that's about it, guys. I hope you guys enjoy. If you want to know how to make this PSD better, you can go watch my AVI tutorial that I made a while back. But yeah, that's how you make a PSD, guys. I hope you guys enjoy. One last thing, by the way, is you can add another adjustment layer, this time with hue and saturation, to change the color to whatever you want. So you want a green one, maybe a blue one, an orange one, or just whatever one you want. You can do that. Oh yeah, and if you're gonna be sending this to other people, like if you're in a team and you have other designers and you're gonna be sending this to them, make sure once you have everything done, make sure you select everything, and then just click on right click on an image and click raster size layer. Don't click raster size layer styles. If you do this, you're gonna completely ruin it, and it's not gonna work at all. You're gonna completely screw yourself. So make sure you click raster size layers, and that's basically that. Once you do that, you're pretty much all good. But yeah, that's gonna be the end of the tutorial, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. If this helped you out in any way, leave a like, subscribe if you're new. I make editing tutorials every week, so yeah, subscribe for that. Also, if you have any questions, join my editing and designing Discord server in the description below. But yeah, guys, it's Out of Order, and I'm out, dudes. Later, man.